I've lived all my 75 years in the shadow of the crumbling stones of my family's ancestral home, Dunwhinny Castle, an imposing fortress perched on the misty highlands near the old lochs and ragged hills. My lineage, noble though quietly so, stretches back centuries, with every generation passing down the same winding corridors and dark oak-paneled rooms, haunted by the weight of history and, as my parents insisted, by spirits that kept watch over us. My son Jamie, however, refuses to inherit this legacy. The boy has never wanted to live here. He calls it a cold relic, not a home. He moved to the city years ago, preferring the warmth and light of modern life over the chill of these stone walls and their whispered secrets. As for me, I grew restless as a young man, trying to escape the stories that clung to my childhood like ivy on the castle walls. My mother would tell me of the ghosts that drifted silently through the halls at dusk, figures who, she claimed, protected our family as well as upheld a warning never spoken aloud. My father, more pragmatic but no less firm in belief, said the highlands themselves were steeped in legends, tales born from the very earth we stood on. There was the story of the Black Kelpie, a water horse said to claim the lives of those who ventured too close to the lake's dark edge at night, and the strange tale of the Weaver's Curse, a long-forgotten tragedy linked to an old clan feud that once touched our family indirectly when my great-great-grandfather tried to stop it. It was all so far away once, part of a childhood I left behind, like the dusty tapestries and ancient suit of armor gathering shadows in the halls. I left home after university, seeking to cut ties with the superstition and shadows that wrapped our home in gloom. For years, I lived in London, chasing a career in literature, distancing myself from the old stories, convincing myself that the past was to be studied, not feared. But fate, it seems, has other plans. My parents' deaths came abruptly in a car crash on a fog-shrouded road less than 20 miles from Dunwhinny. When the police told me, I was numb. But something about that night, the thick mist, the narrow lanes, recalled the stories I had disdained. After settling their affairs, I returned here to the stone maze in the memories. At first, it felt strange, foreign almost. But with time, I took up the mantle once more, caretaker of the castle and keeper of its stories. Now, age has settled into my bones. My eyesight, once keen as a hawk's, has dulled, blurred by a creeping macular degeneration. I see the world not in crisp edges, but as vague, wavering shadows, shapes that seem to shift and move just beyond clear focus. But in this fogged vision, I find I see more than mere shapes. They sometimes form angles and figures, silhouettes almost human, but somehow off-kilter, lingering in corners where no one else is. I wonder often if these are tricks of failing eyes or something else lingering at the edges of human sight. One summer evening, I recall sitting by the great bay window downstairs, too hot to rest in my chamber above. My leg, encased in plaster after a fall on the uneven stone steps, kept me grounded to that chair. Out of the corner of my eye, a faint silhouette seemed to materialize against the courtyard's gloom, an ethereal figure gliding silently across the flagstones. That night, the window at my side opened suddenly, rattling the old iron latch with an eerie creak. I was sure I had locked it before retreating to that chair. The breeze was still, a heavy heat pressing through the glass, so natural wind felt unlikely. Did some restless spirit insist on a breeze to relieve my fever? I do not know, but the feeling of presence was as thick as the highland mist outside. Earlier occasions were less dramatic, but no less strange. Once, near the ancient fireplace, I saw a faint form flicker, almost like smoke shaped into a vague human outline. The firelight danced and warped, but no draft could explain the chill that ran through the room just then. Another time, I found the old portrait of my ancestor, Lady Fiona McGregor, tilted slightly on the wall, despite the stillness of the air. Her painted eyes seemed to follow me wherever I went, as if warning or beseeching. These moments unsettle me, and yet I am reluctant to share them, fearing that they would sound like the ramblings of a senile old man. Things that perhaps could be explained by the mind playing tricks, or the slow creep of time gnawing at my reason. Now, as I sit here, the shadows lengthening and the flickers of dim firelight playing over these ancient stones, I'm left to wonder, is it possible that losing one's sight opens a new kind of vision? A sight beyond the physical, able to glimpse the folds of time or the echoes of lingering souls? Or is it all the product of a mind unraveling, the lonely musings of a body wearing thin, and a spirit clinging desperately to stories that once gave purpose? Perhaps as I grow older, I am beginning to see the unseen, or perhaps I am simply losing my grip on what is real. Whatever the truth, I have lived long enough in these walls to feel the weight of history in my bones and the pulse of mystery in the air. When the time comes, the castle will pass out of my hands, and with my son choosing another life, these murmurs of the past might finally fade into silence. But for now, the whispers linger, ghostly silhouettes in the periphery of a fading sight, the watchful guardians of Dunwhinny, or the last shadows of a legacy that refuses to die.